That's $145 worth of wood, cut just to the size I want. While I'm here, I'm sure I remember filming this the last time I was here. That's part of Morrison's Cove. It'd be the east side of the southern end of Morrison's Cove. I always like to stop in at the Mennonite store. On my way back now, now that's a tiny mill. You can tell because where it's placed. I'm sure it hasn't run for a very, very long time. But right here by the creek. And there's a second sawmill. You know, I don't really know the whole story on it, but you can see by the sawdust pile, they saw lumber there. And right up in here too, there's an old place that they still make lime. I assume that's what it is. You know, they bake limestone. My, but the corn's high. Here, it got rain recently that it really needed. I like to take a different route back. Ideally, when I make this trip, I don't really have to drive over about 30 miles an hour at any point. Now this is going down, well, that same creek that little mill was on. One of the reasons there's so much water coming here, and it's whatever season, in the summer it runs too, is because I guess there's a huge lake underneath Morrison's Cove. It's limestone. It's some of the best soil, I don't want to say in the world, but in Pennsylvania, which has got some pretty good soil in the east. I'll give you some idea. I heard a guy calling. He's calling. I don't know what he's calling. I'm just going to let this run until I get out here to the main road. Give you a little idea of the way people love their plants. Well, a lot of people do anyway, I think, but I think here in the Germanic part of Pennsylvania, especially so. Alright, briefly I cross in onto a slightly busier road. Here's an old mill site. Right there was where the wheel was. There's the head race. No water's run over it, I don't think, in years. But you can still see, here's where the water arrived. The Southern Cove is just full of sites like this. And I'll keep filming just a little bit here, because I think you'll be able to see where the mill race came across the field. Yeah, there it is. That's where the water was diverted. Up here is one of the several small Mennonite churches. I assume they're all Mennonite, but maybe they aren't. That guy, I'm convinced, is laying lumber out there just so it'll age, so it'll bleach in the sun. It's the only explanation I've got for the way he's got that lumber laid there. I imagine he goes out and rolls it over periodically. I always wonder whether that was a school or a church originally. I'm really not sure. It now has been sold as long as it's in other people's hands. It could have been either. Back there is where the Sawmill is. That's more sure. That's Cove now. A little pony. Now I'm on the west side of that ridge, the west side of Morrison's Cove. Lots of alfalfa, soybeans, corn, and right down there is a Mennonite school. On this trip I go past about 6. They usually, or almost always, only go up to 8th grade. See, I can't tell. Well, I guess children wouldn't be there this time of year, but I'll see if I can. There you go. You can probably see it. Bicycles are more common here than horse and buggy, but you see both. Now coming down the west side of Brumbaugh Mountain into the ridge and valley area, I think is what they call this geology. I can't go too slow because I got some of it behind me, but this is not so rich farmland, but closer, well, I'll say more about it later. What I was going to say was that this side of the mountain is much rougher. It's not nearly as civilized, I might say. And it suits me better, really, because I'm not civilized enough to live in Morrison's Cove, I don't think. Although I do love it over there. I think it's one of the most civilized places on earth that I've ever been to. But Dutch Corner is wonderful. I love it. It's my home.